We are the anchors of Queer News Tonight, and this evening we discuss the queer headlines. Federal appeals court rules Maryland's trans-affirming school policy is constitutional, strengthening classroom protections for transgender and non-binary students despite religious objections.
Medicare will negotiate prices for the HIV drug Biktarvy, lowering costs for LGBTQ people, seniors, and patients under the Inflation Reduction Act.
6 sold-out comedy shows in St. Paul were canceled after comedian Ben Bankus faced backlash for mocking Renee Good's fatal shooting by ICE.
Federal immigration enforcement under Trump sees record detention deaths, fueling mass protests, strikes, and calls to abolish ICE.
Greater Fort Lauderdale LGBT Chamber of Commerce cuts CEO role amid political and financial strain. All this important LGBTQ news and more this evening on Queer News Tonight. Welcome to Queer News Tonight. This is the world's first and only LGBTQ daily news television show, broadcasting live and available on demand on your favorite streaming channels.
Analytics company vidIQ has certified the Queer News Tonight YouTube channel as the world's most popular LGBTQ streaming news show.
Our queer stories have reached over 11 million views. We're proud that Queer News Tonight has more YouTube subscribers than any other LGBTQ brand in Florida.
We thank you for watching and supporting our voice in our rainbow family. There is no other news program in the LGBTQ world like Queer News Tonight.
It is Tuesday, February 3rd. We are live and literally out of the closet and into the headlines. So many of your important stories we will tell this evening on Queer News Tonight.
You're watching Queer News Tonight, the world's first daily LGBTQ evening news show.
Welcome to the world's most important LGBTQ evening news show.
Hotspots Magazine, Happening Out Television Network, is a nonprofit 501c3 media company in the same model as PBS and NPR, but created for the LGBTQ community. Our nonprofit mission is to support the 11 pillars of our community. We want to inform and educate the key issues of lesbian, trans, Latino, Black, healthcare, seniors, students, faith, social justice, business, and queer culture. Help us support our diverse community.
We are part of one of the largest LGBTQ nonprofit media companies in America, Hotspots Magazine and Happening Out Television Network. Hotspots Happening Out is a proud beneficiary of the 2026 Florida AIDS Walk, standing strong by our healthcare pillar. Funds raised are matched dollar for dollar in support of our HIV policy reform and educational programs, including our MSM conference. We invite you to donate and join us on March 21st to walk in support of the Hotspots Happening Out teams.
In 2026, our magazine is celebrating 41 years of the LGBTQ experience, and Queer News Tonight is celebrating our 5th anniversary with more than 11,000 LGBTQ television stories. We present South Florida's major LGBTQ events, including Pride Fort Lauderdale, Stonewall Pride, and Pride Fete. Our magazine, events, television news, talk, and entertainment shows support our mission to educate the LGBTQ community and the broader community at large.
In 2026, more than 100 community leaders will sit at this table and share their voice as our anchors. Together, we host this show to support the LGBTQ community. Let's meet this evening's anchors at Queer News Tonight. Let's welcome anchor Von Biggs. He is a community engagement and outreach coordinator at Holy Cross Health, a vice chair of the Ryan White Part A Planning Council, and a board member of Trans Ed and Harmony Waves. Von, it's always great having you at this table. Holy Cross Health Silver Pride returns on Thursday, February 13th. Tell me what's happening out.
That's right, Eric. Silver Pride returns on Thursday, February 13th from 12 to 2 p.m. with an affirming wellness gathering for LGBTQ senior adults living with chronic illnesses. Hosted by Holy Cross Health, the event takes place at Holy Cross Family Health Center, Water's Edge Conference Room. This month's theme, Feeding Strength and Fueling Pride. Features a licensed nutritionist discussing healthy nourishment as we age, smart fueling habits, and common nutrition pitfalls. The session also highlights how self-care strengthens resilience within the LGBTQ elder community. It's free to attend, but space is limited to 25 people. Advanced registration is required, and you can do that by emailing me at von.biggs@holy-cross.com. You know, I really love this program that we've done, and we've developed it for a year-long program, and hopefully we'll continue to go forward with it. And it's just amazing to get, it's a very small group of people that get together, and for them to talk about their health care and as they're aging and just navigating different topics throughout the year. It's not a drag brunch. It's not something that we see, you know, in our community. That's not meant to be a very large organization. People call me all the time and they want me to change it. And I'm like, no, this is about healthcare. And that's what we need to do.
I love that they're getting a nutritionist right there at their fingertips. That's not something that everyone is privy to with maybe the confines of the insurance that they're working with. If they even have it these days, it's tough to say. But yeah, little decisions and moderation in lifetime decisions can really keep you going longer.
Absolutely.
Well, as a queer elder, once again, I want to thank you for all you and Holy Cross do through the Silver Pride Initiative. Thank you.
Thank you. It's a formula that works, and we really are very appreciative of everything that you do in the community. So thank you.
Thank you.
Queer News Tonight looks forward to seeing you at Silver Pride on February 13th. Let's welcome anchor Gregg Shapiro, an inductee into the Chicago LGBT Hall of Fame. Gregg is an entertainment journalist whose celebrity interviews and reviews run in a variety of regional LGBTQ publications and websites. Welcome back to the show, Gregg.
I'm so glad to be back at the show, and the warmth at this table helps my very chilled bones. So thank you.
Happy to help. Let's welcome anchor Brian Bender. Brian is a lifelong South Floridian, Broward County teacher, community volunteer and leader, and on the Education Advisory Board of Fort Lauderdale. Welcome to the show, Brian.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me. I'm so happy to be here.
And of course, let's welcome tonight's lead anchor, Eric Restivo. Eric is a well-known DJ, cabaret singer, and host here in South Florida. Over the last 15 years, he has had DJ residencies in New York City, P-Town, and LA. Eric can now be seen and heard, obviously, hosting and singing weekly all over Wilton Drive. Welcome Eric to the show.
And Von Biggs, it's so nice to finally be at the table with my younger brother. You know,
yes.
We don't get to see each other that much. We're so
And the
busy,
wisdom that you share at the table
so
is
love right now. It's
Let's
amazing.
dive in, boys. I'm Eric Restivo, and let's queer up the USA View. Maryland federal court sides with trans students, a win. A federal appeals court has ruled that a Maryland school district's trans-affirming policy does not violate a Christian teacher's constitutional rights. It has reinforced protections for trans and non-binary students in classrooms. According to reporting by the Washington Post, the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Fourth Circuit upheld a lower court's decision involving former substitute teacher Kimberly Polk. Polk argued that Montgomery County Public Schools policy requiring staff to use students' chosen names and pronouns violated her First Amendment rights to free speech and religion. Polk began working with Montgomery County Public Schools in 2021 and objected to the policy on religious grounds, citing her understanding of her Christian religion and the Holy Bible. After her request for religious accommodation was denied, she stopped teaching and later sued the district. Courts ruled that as a district employee, Polk was hired to speak on behalf of the school system. Writing for the majority, Judge Robert B. King said decisions about curriculum and classroom rules belong to the elected school boards and not individual teachers. The ruling could affect similar cases across multiple states in the Fourth Circuit. Polk's attorney says they may appeal to the Supreme Court, especially as similar cases move through other federal circuits involving trans student protections and religious freedom claims. So this is, I like to say this at this table a lot, that we get small wins here. This is a big win at this this table. Not every story that we're going to report on tonight is going to be as rewarding as this one, but I did notice that the Trevor Project is the organization that conducts all of these studies. And there's one that we hit a little bit later as well, but they conducted a study that they said using pronoun courtesy and just proper whatever they would like to be called, their chosen name, the pronouns that they're presenting themselves as, reduces the risk of suicide already by 35%. That's a monumental number. You know, it's little things, little changes that you can make to save a life. And Kimberly Polk, sorry, it didn't work out in your favor.
I mean, you think about when you're hired to work at an organization or anywhere, you have like a code of ethics, that understanding of what your roles are. So to go in and then say, oh, no, that goes against
my constitutional rights. Yes.
I'm a teacher, so I feel like I could really speak to this. You know, here in the state of Florida, unfortunately, we cannot, you know, change pronouns for a student if they ask us to. But there are always ways to make people feel comfortable or in your presence.
How do you do that? Not to put you on the spot.
How do I do that? Well, you know,
obviously you respect the...
Yes, absolutely. Obviously, I respect my job. I respect the school district. I need my job. Thank you very much. What I do is I just make sure that people are heard. If somebody needs to speak with me, I will listen to them.
Good.
And I will always, you know, I might not be able to visibly say, I agree with you, or, you know, I wish I could do X, Y, or Z for you. I think they could feel it in my spirit when they know that I'm a receptive person. I hear them. Obviously, I won't break any rules. But I will spend that extra 30 seconds if a student needs to speak with me. So that's
really
what I can do.
refreshing to hear.
Yeah, thank
really
you.
great.
Yeah.
Gee, I hope she hires Kim Davis's attorneys to work for her. But hooray for Maryland and the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Fourth Circuit. On the other hand, boo-hoo for poor Kimberly Poke yourself in the eye. Oh, she stopped teaching? Anyway, we can get her to stop breathing.
Well, that was the whole thing. She was the sub too. She was like, you don't even go here, Karen.
Don't find another job.
Go find another job.
I'm Von Biggs, and let's queer up health. Medicare targets price cut for key HIV drug. The federal government is moving to lower Medicare costs with the widely used HIV medication, a step with major implications for LGBTQ communities, seniors, and people living with HIV. The Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services announced it is negotiating prices for 16 high-cost drugs. Among them is Biktarvy, a once-daily pill used both to treat HIV and as post-exposure prophylaxis to prevent infection. The drug is made by Gilead Sciences. Biktarvy use has surged since its FDA approval in 2018. More than 100,000 Medicare enrollees used the drug between November 2024 and October of 2025. Wow. During that same period, Medicare spent over $3.9 billion on it, while Gilead reported $13.4 billion in Biktarvy revenue in 2024. These negotiations are possible because of the Inflation Reduction Act passed in 2022 under former President Joe Biden. While the law received no Republican votes, its drug pricing provisions are now being implemented under President Donald Trump. Any new prices, including for drugs like Botox and Trulicity, will take effect on January 1st, 2028. The interesting thing is, this story's probably not done. I'm sure we're going to hear. We're going to get more on this. You know, I always view it as you have to compare apples to apples. And if you're going after Gilead because you say, oh, in a year's time frame you spend this much on the drugs, but then you look at a competitor's product and over a year's time it's the same cost, but nobody's attacking that one. It's like who's got it in for them, and that's kind of what I'm looking to see.
These numbers of billions that they just keep throwing. I'm like, how is this drug even costing anyone anything? I mean, any of these drugs that the numbers are so insane. But at the same time, we need them for our life, and where else are we going to go? I mean, so yeah.
And it is a standard of care. I mean,
Right,
Biktarvy
it's not-
is the
right,
one, like
it's-
the most.
it's the one.
It's the most common one used because there was nothing out for a while.
I don't understand why it's so much cheaper to treat HIV infection in places like sub-Saharan Africa, but then you get to a Western country and it's multiple hundreds of thousands of dollars per year. So there's got to be
the same thing for those people go to many different places to do things like that. BBLs and
turkey teeth
operation and denture renewal, outside of the States because of that exact reason.
I hear Colombia is a great place for some cosmetic stuff. I've been looking into it, so I do understand that motivation, but I do think that the prices could be brought down, even further. And I mean, this is a great start.
I mean, we're seeing it. We're seeing here in Florida where they're cutting, Biktarvy out of ADAP,
out of it,
completely, and it's a matter of like, okay, but why? And are you comparing? I always want to compare apples to apples. I want to see what's it across the board, not just one drug. Because to me, that feels like you're targeting
You're
someone.
a numbers guy.
Right.
Yeah.
Like to see it.
And it's nice to hear that it's something else for which we can be grateful to Joe Biden and his
Thanks, Uncle
sensible
Joe.
administration. Oh, we miss you, Joe. We miss you.
I wrote Joe Biden in all capital letters, but I had a feeling, icon Gregg Shapiro was going to make a statement about Uncle Joe. We love you, Joe Biden.
We miss you.
Yes, just come take a seat at the round table.
Yes.
But I agree with you, Von Biggs. I think we'll report on this story again another 6 months from now with different, numbers being thrown at us.
I'm Gregg Shapiro, and let's queer up the USA View. Comedians' shows canceled after outrage over Renee Good jokes. Growing controversy over comments about the death of Renee Good has led to 6 sold-out comedy shows being canceled in St. Paul, Minnesota. Comedian Ben Bankus was scheduled to perform at the Laugh Camp Comedy Club, but after videos went viral showing him making jokes about Good's fatal shooting by an ICE agent in nearby Minneapolis, he said, quote, "Her last name was Good. That's what I said after they shot her," end quote. The club's owner called off all performances. Venue owner Bill Collins said the decision was driven by, quote, "heightened threats, increasing media attention, and civil disorder," end quote, and that all ticket holders have been refunded. In the controversial clip, Bankus also made offensive comments about Good's partner and suggested she should have been shot sooner. Bankus has criticized the club's decision and vowed to seek other venues in Minnesota. Good's death has sparked national protests and conversations about immigration enforcement and racial justice, amplified by reactions from artists such as Bruce Springsteen, who recently referenced her and another victim in a new song. I mean, just like right off the top, he wants to perform in the Twin Cities where this stuff happened, and he's saying stuff about the people that were killed. I mean, just right off the bat, not the brightest thing. And do you remember, he's from Toronto, and do you remember when Toronto-born comedians were geniuses, such as the late Catherine O'Hara, right?
Oh,
I mean, he's not even fit to even look at Catherine O'Hara.
That name and hers shouldn't even be in the same
right.
but
And,
yes.
I can guess that with her untimely passing, we're going to be stuck with homophobic, unfunny, hateful, sexist, unfunny, racist, transphobic, did I mention unfunny, detritus, like Ben Bankus? His idea of comedy is making jokes about his mother's cognitive decline. That's in
What a disgusting
That's
guy.
in his bit. So just think about that.
Oh my gosh.
And he always manages to work some racism stuff in there too.
I read this article, read that he got canceled for 6 performances and said, good. How about that?
Right.
Ass.
That's good.
I mean, what a despicable human being. I don't even want to waste too much of my breath on this human being, but this is exactly.
I'd never heard of him before.
By the way, kudos to the club owner because there's a ton of this homophobic, hateful speech that is allowed at every comedy show that you go to. most comics that are successful leave politics out of it. Just a heads up. Like the ones that you see on HBO are still making fart jokes and calling themselves fat.
Right.
Like just go back to that.
Right.
I mean, like truly. But what a despicable human. And his karma, I'm a true believer of karma. It'll come even back, even more to him, I hope.
I mean, there's things I just feel like in comedy or anything, you just don't talk about it. You don't joke about it. Death, you don't joke about it.
And whatever happened to reading The Room? Read The City.
Right.
I mean, you're right in the
right.
middle of the epicenter of ICE protests, of neighborhood watches, of people really standing up for their neighbors, and you got this guy.
And doubling down with the wife, by the way, doubling down, saying, "Oh, after your wife said drive, baby, drive, you should also have been shot." Like, you know, he kept going with it.
I think it just shows that you don't have to be that smart to be a comedian, but to be a good comedian, you have to be smart.
That's right.
Yeah, and just a reminder, I think we played a video while we were reporting on it. If you didn't get a look at what this guy looks like, he's
there's some jokes that could be written about
a
him.
real winner.
Yes.
So
Kilimanjaro?
yeah, there is.
Wegovy?
Just doesn't even go here. Just go back to the fat jokes. Yeah, especially him. He's fat.
I'm Brian Bender, and let's queer up the USA view. ICE killings, government lies, and growing uprising. Since Donald Trump took office on January 20th last year, oh my God, it's only been such a short time, immigration enforcement has grown deadlier, and the federal government's explanations are facing intense scrutiny. Immigrations and Custom Enforcement, or ICE, has seen 2025 as its deadliest year since its founding in 2003. At least 32 people have died in ICE custody. Agents have shot 19 people, killing at least 7. By December 17th, more than 3,800 children were detained. Just last week, 5 children, including a 2-year-old, were detained in Minneapolis. Public backlash is growing. A YouGov survey found more Americans support abolishing ICE than oppose it. Even nearly 20% of Republicans. In Minnesota, tens of thousands protested. Over 700 businesses closed in the first citywide general strike in nearly 80 years. Barack and Michelle Obama called Preddy's killing a wake-up call. Across the country, ICE Watch, groups, churches, NGOs like Amnesty International and the ACLU are mobilizing, sharing hotlines, delivering food, teaching people their rights, as 61% of voters say ICE has gone too dang far. Many fear a dark chapter in U.S. history is unfolding right now. I got news for you. It's unfolding. It's here. We're living it. Welcome to this dark chapter. That's all I have to say on that. So
they make on average on the high end $82,000 a year as an ICE agent.
I just think
They make more than a police officer makes.
I just feel like they're like too lazy to go to the police academy, and they're too like
and be trained.
I don't even know. It's like you could just go. I could just Google "make me," and you could just do it right now on your phone if you want.
Just prove your citizenship, and you can be an ICE agent.
But 61% for like doesn't sound high enough to me. I guess it's high in the way that you're looking at it, but the fact that it's not a landslide is the most concerning.
Right. Why aren't more people?
That's why we're sitting here right now reporting on this, right?
Yes.
Because not more people are opening their eyes to what's happening. The theory of if it's not affecting me, I'm not being hurt by it goes out the window like a while ago. So it's horrible.
I mean, they're here in our community.
Until
right? I mean, they're here. So they're affecting everybody.
And by the way, this community is incredible if anyone gets whereabouts of where federal agents are. It's right on the Nextdoor app. It's being shared in different groups. I'm not going to name any because God forbid someone's watching, but just know that ICE is watching. They're also watching you. They are, so you're not going to pull one over on people who are ready and aware and also U.S. citizens like you've been doing.
Right.
It has to stop.
Well, and the fact that people are protesting in below zero temperatures.
And like
People are
happily,
out there,
peaceful.
and it's amazing. And that just says how angry people are.
That's right.
And I think that's
5 Points did peaceful protesting Saturday morning. I was at the gym, right, and the cops, Wilton Manors Police Department is chef's kiss.
Yeah.
And they were patrolling the area and making sure everything stayed great. So shout out to that group of protesters and the Wilton Manors PD, because they're great.
Well, the Trump administration is really trying to crush Minnesota's spirit. Minnesota actually helps people in need. People from Michigan, people from Wisconsin, people from Nebraska, they move to Minnesota.
They have a long history.
Because they have a long history of social safety nets. Maybe it's not, Scandinavian style socialism or whatever you want to call it. I don't even think that's socialism. But they are helping people in need, single mothers who don't have, a 2-person income in their home. They move to Minnesota because they know that the social help that they will receive is robust. It's quite a planned takeover of Minneapolis, St. Paul, Minnesota, because they want to crush people's spirits, and that's really what this is. It's mean-spirited, and cruelty's the point.
It's all the bullies from high school.
Kristi Noem, Donald Trump.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, bullies.
Send her back to South Dakota with her, whatever.
Her lips.
Well,
All the bullies turned out to be gay when they came older, right? I think so.
I think so, and now they're all covered up in their ice gear. So they came out, then they went back into the ice closet. Is what happened exactly.
Well,
I'm still on Scandinavian socialism. That's a whole nother chat for this table. But I'm Eric Restivo, and let's queer up South Florida and Florida. Fort Lauderdale LGBT Chamber cuts CEO role amid funding strain. The Greater Fort Lauderdale LGBT Chamber of Commerce has announced a significant leadership change, citing mounting financial pressure tied to the current political climate impacting the LGBTQ community. In a social media update, the chamber said its board made the, quote, difficult decision to eliminate the president and CEO position in order to avoid raising membership fees and continue serving queer businesses and allies across Greater Fort Lauderdale. The organization emphasized that it remains fully operational with all programs continuing. The role was held by Jason Nunez, a familiar face to many as an anchor here at Queer News Tonight. Nunez led one of the largest LGBTQ chambers of commerce in the United States during a particularly challenging period. The chamber publicly thanked Nunez for his leadership and dedication. Meanwhile, reliable sources close to the situation who asked us not to be identified told Queer News Tonight that Nunez had not been paid for several months. Community leaders say the decision underscores the serious financial strain facing LGBTQ organizations nationwide under the, what boys? Trump administration, raising concerns about long-term sustainability, even for well-established institutions. Listen, I don't know so much about this organization. What I do know is Jason Nunez, every single time he was at this table, he was giving us an update that had always been greater, pun intended, than the last regarding the Greater Fort Lauderdale and everything that we just spoke about. So, you guys will speak to it a little bit more, but all I know is from an outsider looking in, we were in great hands and he was doing great things.
Well, I hope he's able to get to another place. Or maybe this will be absorbed by another chamber of commerce and that he can continue to do the great work he was doing.
I think he's moving on from that. But unfortunately, it's just a matter of with the cuts and everything. And he had done such a great job from the previous leadership. I mean, he really focused on getting the community together and the businesses that were affiliated with the chamber. I mean, he did things that they had never done before with all the mixers that they did. And, and I had made a comment not too long ago, like, I haven't seen this. There's not been a mixer lately that I've been invited to. What's going on?
Oh, and that.
Right, and then now it's kind of all come out.
It's all coming together now.
It's all, the puzzle pieces are fitting.
And it's kind of what we spoke about a little bit before. If it doesn't affect me, it's not going to affect my life or this and that. But guess what? We are a small little water city in South Florida, and it's affecting us right now.
Absolutely.
It's single-handedly affecting us.
And one of our own.
And my heart goes out to him, to not be paid for several months,
Well, that's alleged, we don't know about that. I just read my teleprompter, honey, we don't know about that. But no, of course, anytime you hear that someone who's putting in the passion, the time, the work, it's sad.
Absolutely. So
our heart goes out to Jason Nunez and all of the great work that he's done for South Florida.
thank you so much.
LGBTQ 1 Minute News. Let's queer up lesbian and queer women. The Rock's queer daughter, Ava Raine, leaves WWE. Ava Raine, the queer daughter of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, has exited World Wrestling Entertainment after 6 years. I didn't even know 6 years. Posting on Instagram, Raine, real name Simone Garcia Johnson, wrote, quote, "This past Tuesday was my last appearance on NXT and subsequently WWE," end quote. Raine joined WWE in 2020 and later served as NXT general manager. After her departure, TMZ reports Raine tweeted, quote, "And now that I can say this with my full chest, ICE and that entire administration," end quote. That gave me so much joy. Her Twitter account has since been deleted, prompting mixed reactions online. So do we think that her Twitter was deleted from Twitter, or do we think that someone on her team made her take it down?
She probably did it.
Or maybe Elon
Really?
forced it down. Who knows?
I have no idea.
Well,
I don't know. I don't think Elon is so heavily involved in the. I don't have Twitter. I haven't had it in years.
but he
but I
does
know
have
about-
minions.
He's got
and pretty
minions
evil.
all over, and someone maybe just flagged
AI.
it
Yeah.
and
AI
took it on
minions.
down.
But it's nice to know that man meat has a lesbian daughter. That really.
He's such a hottie.
Yeah, he's
and he's got a product at the store at Target. It's called Papa Tui. And every time I see it, I say, "Yes, Papa."
Oh, I guess I'm taking a trip to Target, honey.
Right. LGBTQ 1 Minute News. Let's queer up health. Support, not identity, shapes LGBTQ youth mental health. Being LGBTQ plus does not cause mental health problems, but rejection, bullying, discrimination, and violence put queer kids at higher risk for depression, anxiety, and suicide. A 2024 poll by the Trevor Project found 90% of LGBTQ plus youth say recent politics harmed their well-being. 66% reported anxiety, 53% depression, and 39% seriously considered suicide. Experts say stress tied to stigma is near universal risk factor, but protective factors save lives. The strongest is unconditional family support, which the Trevor Project found can out suicide risk nearly in half. Supportive schools affirming healthcare, respecting names and pronouns, and trusted adults also make a critical difference. Acceptance doesn't just help LGBTQ plus kids survive, it helps them thrive. You know, we at the table, we've done a lot of stories on the Trevor Project, which I love. I love the data.
Love the Trevor Project.
And the data is consistent year after year after. I mean, the numbers are still increasing. And it's staggering. It's just like we, as a community, as people who may be involved with kids, thank God there are people out there that really care and they really want to reach out to those kids and help them.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I hope that it's trickling back into the homes as well, because we all have family members who will use the excuse of being from a different generation, that's just too tough for me to get in my mind. I know that I've got them out there. You need to do the work so that your family feels safe around you and you save their life, maybe even unintentionally. I took this quote one from the Trevor Project, and it just says that this is from their identity didn't want to be on the air, but they said that the Trevor Project saved my life, and now it's losing millions of dollars in federal funding thanks to Trump. And I just feel like that testimonial right there is so much more powerful than anyone even knows. The Trevor Project every day is saving lives.
Well, and I hope they can survive whatever cuts are coming, whatever donations are not coming, because we're really lucky to have them.
We really are.
And I just want to say, you know, supporting LGBTQ plus youth doesn't always mean shouting from the rooftops. It could just mean being in close proximity and listening and just resonating with a person. It doesn't mean you have to share your experiences. It doesn't necessarily mean you have to, you know, I never get personal with students, but it just means being there and not feeling like you're giving off an ick factor when they want to talk to you about something. You know, you keep it appropriate. You listen and you talk in, you know, age-appropriate ways, in developmentally sound ways, and you let them know that you are a trusted adult. And I think that that is I think that's gold for students, so too bad here in the state of Florida, we cannot, say we support gay rights, all of that. But I think students can feel it when they know that there's a teacher there, just by the way that the teacher takes a stand, just in terms of standing in front of the classroom. And you should see some of the outfits that I wear. They're all school appropriate, but they're very Parisian art teacher,
I mean, if we're going off what you're wearing right now, you don't even have to explain yourself.
Exactly. So I don't have to explain myself because I'm just being me.
Yeah.
So, and I think that it gives students the permission to be themselves as well.
Yes, but let's push Florida to do better.
Please do better. LGBTQ 1 Minute News. Let's queer up the USA View. Vivian Wilson backs Epstein file, claims about Musk. Vivian Jenna Wilson is speaking out after the latest Epstein files reignited scrutiny around her estranged father, Elon Musk. Posting on Meta's Threads on February 1st, Wilson said, "I'm just going to speak directly instead of being vague and cryptic. I can confirm we were in St. Bart's at the time specified in the emails, and therefore I believe they are authentic." Vivian Jenna Wilson stressed she learned about the emails alongside the public. This is really blowing up.
This is
Where's
my tea?
I feel like she's
Popcorn.
spilling everything. She's like, we were in St. Bart's, but he has been very awful to her, since she has transitioned. He said things like, my son is dead.
When your own child wants to
throw you under the bus,
down to the bottom of the barrel,
Absolutely.
you have to understand how horrible of a human parent you are.
How you failed.
I mean, just
Yes.
a terrible human being.
Right.
But Vivian, on the other hand, that's my kind of gal. We're going out. That's a Sunday fun day party.
I love the way she taunts the sperm donor. I hope she never stops. LGBTQ 1 Minute News. Let's queer up entertainment. Trump threatens Trevor Noah over Grammys joke. Comedian Trevor Noah is facing backlash from Donald Trump after a sharp joke at Sunday's Grammy Awards. While congratulating Billie Eilish, Noah quipped, quote, "That is a Grammy that every artist wants almost as much as Trump wants Greenland, which makes sense because Epstein's island, Little St. James, is gone. He needs a new one to hang out with Bill Clinton," end quote. Trump fired back on Truth Social, calling the remark false and defamatory, adding, quote, "Noah, a total loser. Get ready, Noah. Came here to have some fun with you," end quote. Okay, don't you just love when a total loser calls someone who is so far superior to them in every imaginable way a total loser?
I'm surprised they didn't arrest him like Don Lemon. I'm surprised. You can't say anything. It was, I will say, did you guys watch the Grammys at all? I put it on for 20 minutes, that's all I could take. I didn't know anything or anyone, but every winner on that stage was united in one thing, and it was Ice Out.
Yeah,
Get Out. And it was the brooches, and it was magic to see them all use their platform in that moment, and I hope it made him crazy.
It was like the old days when you would see the red ribbons. This is like the new red ribbon.
Yeah. We need more of that in numbers. LGBTQ 1 Minute News. Let's queer up health. Wisconsin hospitals halt care for trans youth. Two of Wisconsin's largest pediatric systems, Children's Wisconsin and UW Health, have stopped gender-affirming care for minors following pressure from the Trump administration. Children's Wisconsin cited, quote, escalating legal and federal regulatory risk, end quote. Advocates warn the move will harm mental health, obviously. Steve Starkey of Outrage Madison said, quote, it will definitely have a negative impact on the rates of suicide, end quote. Federal threats intensified after HHS Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. announced funding cuts despite major medical associations calling such care safe and essential. I'm going to repeat it. Hospitals are taking the beatings of it all right now. Trump is picking and choosing and picking this, and that's not good, and this is not good, and I want to control that, and call it Trump Hospital, and Kennedy Center's closed, and it's just all his little snow globe of whatever he wants to do. we're taking 2 steps forward in gender affirming care in some areas of the world. And then in this small Wisconsin, wherever we are, this is happening.
I wonder if RFK got that brainworm taken care of, because he's definitely acting like he's being controlled by, some kind of amoeba in his brain, like you're hurting children, so it's unfathomable what we're living through right now.
What makes this even more reprehensible is that since 1982, discrimination based on sexual orientation was banned statewide in Wisconsin. Mm-hmm. Additionally, sexual orientation is a protected class in the state's hate crime laws, making Wisconsin the first U.S. state. Wisconsin was the first one to have a gay rights ordinance. But even after becoming the first state to elect an LGBT U.S. senator, Tammy Baldwin, Trump has still managed to leave his cloven hoofprint all over the state.
So that's what it is.
That's what it is.
It's because he was the first. It's the first of the gay. Yeah. That's why he hates it.
Yeah, that's why he hates Minneapolis, because they help people. Yeah, that's why he hates Wisconsin. He hates cheese, and he hates
it's the retribution presidency.
It really is.
I sadly don't think that this is going to be the last time we hear about this, and there will be more funding cuts happening, and unfortunately we'll be reporting about it. But this is the platform that needs to, right? These are today's headlines from Queer News Tonight. Our anchors represent the best of our LGBTQ family.
If our community is important to you, share this news with your friends and family. Don't forget to join the conversation on your favorite streaming platform. Queer News Tonight is the only live LGBTQ digital television show in the world that is out of the closet and into the headlines.
We need your support. If our community is to grow and then thrive, we must tell our stories and bring them to the attention of the broader world. This is the only place in the world that tells these types of LGBTQ stories in motion and sound.
That's the passion of Hotspots Magazine, Happening Out Television Network, and Queer News Tonight.
I'm your anchor, Eric Restivo, and I thank you for joining us on behalf of my fellow LGBTQ anchors here at Queer News Tonight, Vaughn Biggs, Brian Bender, and Gregg Shapiro. We'll see you daily at 8 p.m., and to our LGBTQ world, we wish you a good night.